All right, all right, all right. Thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on Archive D Style Boxing here. If you're listening on Archive, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and thumbs up the video. All right, check it out. I want to do a video about this. I just finished watching, believe it or not, just got to watch a couple of days ago Logan, right? The movie Logan. By the way, good movie, right? Depressing as hell, but good movie nonetheless, okay? And it's depressing for many reasons. I mean, many reasons, but the X-Men are all dead. Most mutants are dead. The ones that are alive are out and hiding. Xavier's gone mad practically, right? They got him on meds and shit, hiding in Juarez or whatever the fuck he is, right? It was kind of cool to see El Paso in the movie at the beginning, the border and all that shit. But um, that was cool, right? So good movie. But this is not a review about Logan, right? I might do a movie review about it, but that's not what this video is about. This video is actually about, right, the fact that Magneto, Eric, he was right, right? He was absolutely correct. And I've been saying this for years. Now, is he perfect? No, right? Do I agree with every single little thing? No. But you can't say he's wrong in the grand scheme of things. You can't say he was wrong. Because in every scenario, like in the comics, animated series, the movies, whatever, anything to do with the X-Men in the future, it's like this depressing future, right? Like the X-Men are dead, everybody's dead. I mean, Cyclops is dead, Xavier's dead. Okay, they're all dead. Every single one of them's dead. Mutants are out of the run. You know what I mean? They're getting hunted by the humans and shit. I mean, it's never like a pleasant, ending. It's always depressing and shit. There's always something depressing, dark, and like, what the hell is going on here about, the future of X-Men movies or anything regarding X-Men in the comics, whatever it is, right? Days of Future Past. Well, we know what that's about. The Sentinel program expanded and eventually it started to wipe out and collect all the mutants, right? Well, they reverse that. And then what happens? Well, they got wiped out anyway. Some scientist that was like the son of Stryker, who had founded the Weapon X program, right? Found a way to contaminate food to poison just the mutants, and it worked. And it worked, right? So it's always the same thing, man. Now, there's no way to prove that Magneto's way, right, would have been successful, right? But in my opinion, I honestly think they should do a movie about what if things went Magneto's way. Because Xavier's way clearly doesn't work. It is clear that no matter what they do, they're going to get wiped out if they do it Xavier's way. The Kumbaya way doesn't work. All right? You can't expect, in a realistic setting, you can't expect humans to just coexist with mutants. It just is not realistic. It isn't. Now, we have the proof. In almost every scenario, every time we go to the future, they're all wiped out and the world's in chaos, or the mutants aren't around, or they're experimenting on young mutants. I mean, if you see the movie Logan, right, they're, they're basically wiping out of the mutants from the planet, but they're keeping a lot of their DNA to make new offspring, right? And they're using them and torching the shit out of them, killing some of them, right? And to try and make, super soldiers or whatever the hell they're trying to do, right? And they don't cooperate. They put them to sleep like they're dogs. That's the future that Charles Xavier brought to mutants, right? It was bound to happen at some point. It was bound to happen, right? Magneto's way is the only way, right? If they would have gone Magneto's way, I think things would have turned out differently for the mutants, right? It would have. It just would have, right? If it went Magneto's way. I want to see a movie of how things will turn out if Magneto had his way. That's what I want to see, right? Well, things have been worse. No, in Hollywood, they'll try to say it would have been worse, okay? But it's clear to me, right, clear as day, that Xavier's way was not the way, all right? It just wasn't. By the way, that movie Apocalypse is trash, okay? That I had to watch that movie in parts, right? It's terrible. Just terrible. A lot of people, and the reason I'm bringing up Apocalypse, they confuse Apocalypse with Magneto. They believe they have like the same philosophy. They don't, right? Magneto was tortured as a child, right? He saw his mother die, right? He saw his fellow mutants get tortured when he was a child. He knows what humans are capable of. Charles Xavier, all right, tried his way. His way did not work. When are these X-Men going to go to the future and realize, okay, that their way they want to tie it? Have you noticed they always tie it to one event? You know. Oh, I know why. It's because Mystique assassinated that one dude. That's what set everything in motion, right? If you just don't assassinate that one guy, everything would be hunky dory, right? They want to tie it all down to this one assassination, But every single time they fix that so-called assassination, things either get worse or it's the same result in the end. They're all dead, right? In the end, they're all dead. Okay? Regardless, they all end up dead. I want to see, right? You know, I want to see a movie where Magneto wins. Okay? I think it would be a great movie, right? I want to see a movie where Magneto realizes what the future entails, what's going to happen, right? And he takes matter into his own hands. Not that he did in other movies, but this time, Charles Xavier doesn't talk him out of it, okay? Because every X-Men movie is the same shit. Charles Xavier goes into his mind and talks him out of it. Talks him out of his nonsense, supposedly, right? Talks him out of his ways. Almost every movie, it's the same thing, right? This whole if you make him fear us, man, No, no. I just that's what I want to see. Right now, what I want that because you see, you got to look at it from our perspective, right? Because I'm obviously not immune. So if Magneto was real, okay, and mutants were real, if we're all honest, right? If we are all honest with each other, we would want them all exterminated too. Okay, I'm not saying that's what we would want, but that I think we would all understand that's probably what we would need, right? There's no way, any of us. Okay, this is what Magneto understood, right? Us as humans would not feel comfortable with the existence of an individual that can read all of our minds, right? If you just wouldn't feel comfortable with that, right? I wouldn't. I wouldn't feel comfortable at all knowing that there's a dude out there that could read our minds. I wouldn't feel comfortable with the fact that there's, you know, mutants out there that could shapeshift, right? That wouldn't make me comfortable whatsoever. To say that those would be national security risk is an understatement, right? So out of a precaution, okay, there is no doubt that humans are going to try to get rid of that, potential threat, right? That's common sense. So at that point, it's survival of the fittest. It is a race till the end. There's not going to be any coexistence here. We're not going to coexist with one. It's just not going to happen. It isn't. Now, the one thing I don't think the movie's ever quite captured, right, is that threat. Okay, I don't think they ever quite captured that. Like they always made people that they would make them out to be bigots against mutants, right? What's not the same thing. We're not talking about a race here. We're not talking about someone being different just because they have different color of skin. No. We're talking about individuals that have superpowers, that can shapeshift, that can read your minds, okay, that can throw blasts out of their eyes or their hands, or have super strength, or can, heal right away. Well, whatever their mutation, does for them, right? We are talking about a blatant threat to our humanity, right? Like, it just takes one of those. People that could teleport. This is not good. That's what the movies never captured, right? The movies, like, they always made, like, if you notice, the people that always wanted to exterminate the mutants, there were always like villains, like Stryker. He was like he just hated mutants and he hated his son, and he's going after but you always kind of felt like he was the protagonist here, like he was not on the side of good, and so we are looking at something that I don't think they quite captured, right? I just don't. And you could tell because of the way you feel when you watch this movie. So when I watch Logan, right, I feel terrible. Right? It's depressing because I grew up with the X-Men and I had X-Men comic books. So even though of course they're not real, but when you see these dead characters and you realize they're all dead, and you see the state in which Xavier is in, and you see all these horrible things happening to them and anyone they associate with. First of all, the way Xavier went out in that movie, holy shit. That's just not the way you would expect a character like Charles Xavier to go out. And then they kill that family that welcomed them in. The whole thing is just depressing. Like the whole thing. But you never look at, how that benefited mankind. You never look at it from that perspective. They never quite touched on that. So if they were to make a Magneto movie where Magneto prevails, right? Somehow Magneto finds out what the future looks like, the grim future. He takes matters into his own hands. Maybe convinces some X-Men to come to his side. Kills off the ones that don't want to come to his side. And then he succeeds, right? He bombs cities, with their own nuclear weapons, right? Whatever it is, it could be a big catastrophe, right? But only when people actually witness the alternative, which would be mankind being practically wiped out and whatever's left being slaved by the mutants, okay? Once that actually happens, and if you think about it, in many ways, in many respects, it's an allegory for the way we have it now, right? Magneto thinks no differently than the United States government does, right? No different. The United States government has unlimited amount of nuclear weapons. It's the only nation that has ever dropped a nuclear weapon, on another country, which was on Japan. It's the only country to ever do that. It gives itself jurisdiction to oversee itself anywhere it wants, tell everybody what they can and cannot do. Iran, you can't do that. You can't do this. I can't. North Korea, you're not trusted to do this. You're not trusted to do that. Okay. Yes, we're the all powerful. Okay, but I could trust myself with this power. I'm not going to trust you with that power. Okay, that is Magneto's mentality. So best believe, the rest of mankind would have been enslaved to mutants. It would have happened. Now the thing with Magneto, that there's no plan after he overtakes shit. Like he doesn't really have a plan for that. It's just survival for mutants. But that's what I want to see, right? And only until people experience the alternative to mutants being wiped out, right? Only then will people say to themselves, man, maybe it's not that bad, that humans wanted to wipe out the mutants. Because there's only two ways for this to end. Either the mutants get wiped out, or the mutants take over. I mean, those are the only two ways, that it's going to work. That's it. Now, there are many conflicts of interest because many mutants have parents that aren't mutants themselves, right? So there's definitely a lot of conflicts of interest there. All right, but that's something I would like to see. And to be honest, now that it looks like Disney either has already or is going to buy Fox, it would actually be a pretty good movie to do against the Avengers, right? It really would. So that's something that could tie into that. But anyway, that's something I like to see. Let me see something here. Actually, let me do something here. I got a game I play online, so gotta add some points there. Add some points here. Let me get to the comments, guys. Apologize for the wait, right? I would like to give my commentary first, by the way, because I want to say what I want to say, because then I've just realized that if I start reading the comments from Jump, I will go off track, because comments will sidetrack you. It's better to just say what you got to say and then come to the comment section. So T. Scott says, I thought they did a movie on that when they sent Wolverine to the past. Yeah, Days of Future Past. Touch on that. So basically, what if the Apocalypse movie went the mutants' way? Charles could actually change humans into what he wants. Magneto wins means he convinced Charles to use his mind to kill all humans or make humans treat mutants as equals. Well, they could have done that too. You're right. Quest X is a loyal Magneto supporter. There you go. All right. Now keep in mind, by the way, you can't base Magneto just off of the movies, right? You can't just quite base it off of that. If it was up to Magneto, he'd turn everybody to a fucking mutant. Okay, that's At the end of the day, his number one goal is to protect his own. That is Magneto's number one goal. Period. In fact, I think Magneto is one of the first so-called supervillains that you can actually relate to the other side, right? Like nobody could say, "Man, I really know where Joker's coming from." Like no, Joker's a chaotic motherfucker. Like there's something wrong with that dude, right? Lex Luthor. You can't really say, "Yeah, this dude Lex Luthor." I mean, hey, I think I could see where he's coming from. Like, nah, Lex Luthor's an evil dude, right? You can't really say, you know what I mean? Oh, that dude Doomsday. Man, I could really relate to Doomsday. I think Doomsday, like, no, this okay, he's just a destructive force, right? There's no, the Eater of Worlds, Galactic, or whatever the fuck they call it. But you can't say, man, I could relate to that dude. I mean, he totally needs to do that. He needs to destroy a planet, right? It was Magneto is not just evil because ha 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 ha. Okay, if you want to call him evil, okay, this is a dude that was. I mean, you got to put yourself in his shoes. Okay, his mother was killed when he was a child. Okay, he was tortured. He saw his own get tortured. Okay, he saw the evils of humanity, and he knew what the future for his own people who were in hiding was. And you can't say he was wrong. Everything he said to Charles Xavier about working with humans always came true. That's why every time they go to the future, they're all dead, all right? And the few remaining are out running or hiding. Look at the movie Logan and look at the future of Days of Futures Past, right? And they always want to blame it on because Mystique murdered this one guy. That's why. No, that's not. One event cannot cause something that, catastrophic, right? It's the humans, right? It doesn't matter which way you go, right? Not that the X-Men movies always follow continuity, but if you base, like if let's say they fixed it in Days of Futures Past, then they ended up where they ended up in the Logan movie anyway, right? Like they ended up dead either way. If they didn't kill them with the Sentinels, they killed them with a disease. Like they're not going to stop trying to kill you, right? There's just different methods to it. Just because you killed Stryker in his plan, okay, it's like you stopped the Sentinel program, but the Weapon X program was still, that helped the launch. You can't stop. You got to kill it at the source. You got to cut the head off of the snake. And Magneto knew that, okay? Now, for humans, it's not a pretty sight, right? If Magneto had his way. That's why I think they got to do a Magneto movie, right? Like about him getting his way. It might be grim at the end, but that's what I think they should do. T. Scott, you're correct. The movie Logan is the depressing issue. It's a depressing ass movie, right? And it's sad. It's crazy how real they make it look now. Like when they had because they're trying to incorporate this like our smartphones in movies now, right? So and that kind of brings like wow, it makes it feel real, and how the lady was kind of using her phone to record what was happening at the facilities, and you see a kid get dragged off, and you see the blood, and like you see them get experimented on, and then telling them not to treat them like kids, and you don't treat them like human, and this, that, and the third, and it's crazy, right? It almost makes you think Magneto was right. Gorguruga, wow, I just spoiled everything for you. Tim Scott, yeah, the mutants tried the peace way. Mutants becomes test subjects. Yep, yeah. Quest X says Magneto understood human nature, and more importantly, he understood how corruptive it can be. Yeah, I agree. Tim Scott, I think Magneto wants to be the leader of the new world. I wanted to wipe the world of those who wanted to harm mutants, which was just about everybody, okay? Also, I do feel, right, that I think Xavier was like 25% right and 75% wrong. Okay. He had good intentions, right? And Magneto was like 75% right, 25% wrong, right? If you can get Xavier's 25% right and remove Magneto's 25% wrong and switch them, right? That might be the best case scenario. Now let's talk about some things how they're wrong. So, see, to Xavier, right? If a human with full intentions of trying to shoot him in the head, right? If he tries to shoot him in the head, if Xavier can stop that bullet, right? If he can stop him from shooting the gun, he will spare that dude's life. Even if he knows that guy's going to try to come back and kill him, he will spare his life. Because according to Xavier, and we got to think about the big picture here, right? If you try to shoot Magneto, like you're dead, right? There's no other way around it. He'll stop that bullet and he'll go right back to your forehead, right? And your brains will get shot out. Like there is no other way around it. He's not going to stop the bullet, right? Remember that movie where he stops all the bullets and Xavier gets in his mind and he's trying to tell him, don't do this, right? They were just trying to kill him, all right? They were literally just trying to kill him, right? So that's why I think Xavier was a little flawed. Now, where Xavier was right, okay, right, and this is where I believe he had some right, okay. Number one, Xavier believed a lot in mutants controlling their powers, okay, honing their powers. Magneto mostly wanted them to use, he wanted them to embrace their powers, okay, so it's almost the same thing, okay. But I think Xavier, he kind of wanted them to master their powers to a point where they can literally hide it from humans, right? So if it wasn't necessary to show it off, then there's no reason to show it off, right? And that aspect, I kind of agree with Xavier, right? There's no reason to instill fear. If it's unnecessary, it's unnecessary, right? I just think he would go a little too far if they try to harm you, and all of a sudden this dude would go out of his way, okay, to not only literally stop the bullets, but spare lives all around. I mean, it's unbelievable. All right, let's see. No coexistence, says Garuga. They cannot coexist. They just can't. There is no coexistence, right, whatsoever with humans and mutants at all. I mean, to be honest with you, well, either you find a way to. I mean, how could you coexist? I'm trying to think about it. I don't see how you could do it. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. Okay. I know that, this is me. I grew up an X-Men fan. Okay. Till this day that there's somewhere in the closet or some shit, but I have X-Men comic books, right? Like I love the X-Men. The last few movies are trash, but I still love the X-Men. But but if they were real, like if I'm here right now and the X-Men were real, like if mutants in general were real, I would be very worried about that. Okay. Like I would not feel comfortable whatsoever with knowing that there's mutants out there with the type of powers, okay, that they have. I would not feel comfortable with that whatsoever, right? Rascalot, Magneto's Marvel's greatest villain antagonist. I agree. Magneto is awesome, man. Magneto is one awesome villain. Questex says Logan was heartbreaking, but I equate the film to that of a soldier who comes home from war and they are just beaten down and he deserved his peace. T. Scott says, what if mutants decided to take over like Australia where they can build a barrier to protect themselves similar to Wakanda? Well, look, man. I mean, first of all, that would like, let's say it was Australia, right? So we're like, MBT, get the fuck out of here, right? So we got to make all humans from Australia, they all got to leave, right? And we're going to bring all the mutants, okay, to an island, right? So, I mean, in theory, I guess, but I don't think it would work, okay? I just don't. It's there would be too much of it would be too much of a standoff, and something would happen in that process. Okay, somebody's gonna double cross somebody, and then a war's gonna break out. You know, so Magneto's greatest weakness is Charles. Yeah, it is. Questex says Magneto was Malcolm X, Xavier was MLK. T. Scott, kill Charles, mutants do win. Rascalot never liked Professor X. Questex, Charles was about conformity and acceptance. Eric was about survival and dominance. Rascalot, humans and mutants could not coexist because mutants will automatically feel superior towards humans. Batman always win, though. All right. It's survival of the fittest, man. Like, what do you think the Homo sapien did to the Neanderthal? You know, it's just the way it is. You know that's just it's survival of the fittest. It is in mankind's best interest to wipe out the mutants. It just is. Period. Period. I want to see a Magneto movie where he's victorious. I want to see the future of the world if Magneto were to win. That's what I want to see, right? I think it would be great. Hell, it could be based off when he already succeeded, right? It doesn't have to be based off of when it's happening, you know, but hey. What about, let me just read these other comments here. Questex says humans can exist with mutants because of basic evolutionary dynamics. When two warring species compete, the dominant one always wins. T. Scott, it's funny how X-Men humans can't coexist, but Justice League and Avenger humans can coexist. Well, there's a big difference, bro, with Avengers and with X-Men, right? So, in the case of the Avengers, right? Captain America. This is a super soldier created by humans, right? The Hulk. I mean, this was it was an accident, right? I forgot the name of the substance, but this, you know, that's how Hulk happened, right? Iron Man, just a very intelligent billionaire who created this iron suit, you know. I mean, we could go on, but that's what these guys are, okay? In the case of X-Men, okay, the mutants, it's just a different world. It's not the same thing, right? So if you look at the X-Men perspective, like if I'm sitting here right now and I know of the Avengers, right? Let's say I know of the Hulk and I know of Captain America. Let's say they were real. these are like it's a different dynamic than I live in a world of mutants, and I don't even know if my next door neighbor is immune. Okay, I don't even know if I go out with my girlfriend. How do I know it's not a fucking mutant? It just shapeshifted to my girlfriend. It's not a world where there's mutants that could read your mind. It's not a world where mutants can teleport and do all this crazy stuff. Okay. Yes, the Avengers have, for the most part, superpowers, but it's not the same dynamic. It just isn't. Let's see. Justice League is garbage, says Rasclot. The movie is garbage. That's for sure. Rasclot, I'd rather have Magneto on my side versus Apocalypse than Professor X. Well, I mean, I guess, yeah. Gamma rays, technically, humans did create mutants. Thanos versus Magneto, who wins? I'm not sure. I don't get into this fictional versus thing. Another video I'm gonna do, but who knows? I don't know. What did Magneto just like remove the glove? I don't know. I saw something about that, but I don't know. I don't get into all this. I just don't get into all that stuff. Apocalypse is a whole different animal to Magneto, though, right? Here's the difference between Apocalypse and Magneto. Magneto is somebody he's just a realistic person, right? He just understands that it's us or them. I got no choice. We got to do what we got to do, right? That's Magneto. Like Magneto understands, okay, that mankind's corrupt. Okay, Magneto understands that if they try to coexist with them, they're going to double cross them one day, and it's going to be the demise of all mutants. He knows that. What Magneto does, he does it out of what he perceives as a necessity, right? Apocalypse, on the other hand, right? Apocalypse, right, just wants power, right? That's all it is. Apocalypse is evil, right? Apocalypse, of course, wouldn't mind wiping out humans. He doesn't care if they're good, or they're bad, he doesn't care. Apocalypse is just an evil motherfucker, right? Apocalypse wants to enslave others, okay, for his enjoyment. Like we're talking about a whole different animal here than Magneto. Magneto is somebody that's looking out for his own, right? And who I believe is very misunderstood. Apocalypse, there's nothing misunderstood about him. But I don't know. I don't know who wins. Thanos, Magneto. I have no idea. What do you think? Who do you think wins? I know people are high on the Avengers right now. Thanos is that dude right now, right? They're breaking records at the box office. So to everybody, whoever they got is the best, right? So to me, if they did the X-Men movies right, to be honest with you, they would blow the Avengers away, okay? They would just blow them away. But what are you going to do? Rascalot thinks Magneto wins. Does he? I don't know. I have no idea. Who's writing the comic book? I guess it would depend how the movie would go, right? I guess it would depend on that. To be honest with you, I'm not that. I don't know that much about Thanos, so I couldn't really tell you. I don't know. I just know Magneto is the probably my best villain out of all the comic books. That's all I could tell you. Yeah, but this whole like versus thing, look, man. You know what really irritates me? Like I remember a couple years ago, I ran into these Superman versus Goku, um, like debates here on YouTube, and man, like these DC fans and these Dragon Ball fans were, I mean, they were going at it, like they were being, it was like serious too. Like, no, Superman, okay, survived the supernova, okay, and like it was just. Yeah, but Goku knows martial arts, and I mean all this like all this dumb shit. Okay. T. Scott, Thanos wanted to rid the universe of hunger and greed to summarize his intentions. All planets, even cosmic, are surrounded by magnetic fields. Magneto could destroy any planet. Yeah, Rasclab, but I mean, it's not like you're making it sound like Magneto could just like snap his fingers and bam, it's a wrap. Like the planet is destroyed. Like, it would, he does use up his energy when he does these things. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know. Superman 1,000,000 fucks Goku. Fucks him up anyway. Goku would fuck up Superman. I honestly don't care. It's, they don't even belong in the same story. It's a totally different story. It's a totally different style of they don't call them comics in Dragon Ball. I forgot what they call them, but it's all different. You know what I mean? I don't know, and I don't care who would win. Okay, it's a pointless debate, in my opinion. I don't think all planets are surrounded by magnetic fields. Earth is. Don't know for sure though. I actually don't know. Haplotype. Maybe we need to be. We need to. I think we need to fact check if all planets are surrounded by magnetic fields. I don't know if that's the case. I actually don't know, to be honest. T. Scott, Magneto needs his own movie and story. I agree. He does. Let's do a Magneto movie. I think Magneto is one of the best characters, period. His powers are awesome. They're unique, right? Since I'm on here, all right, Haplotype says pretty sure it ain't, all right? Since I'm on here, let me talk about Dragon Ball really quick, all right? Now, look, I used to like Dragon Ball, right? But it got so ridiculous after a while that I just had to stop watching it. Now, I haven't watched Dragon Ball in years, bro, right? The last time I saw Dragon Ball was their movie, right? Battle of the Gods, or I forgot what the hell it was called, right? And when he fights Frieza, when Frieza comes back, and that's it, right? I can't stand Dragon Ball, right? Like I liked it when, like, at first, like when I was watching Dragon Ball Z, and you had like Goku's brother, Radix was his name, right? Come back, and Goku sacrifices himself, but he's gonna train while he's dead or whatever. And the Dragon Balls were still relevant, right? Like they have to collect the Dragon Balls, and so they could wish Goku back, this, that, and the third, and and Vegeta and what's the other bald dude's name? I forgot his name. Um, Nappa, right? Okay, they were going to come to Earth, but a reason for that is they wanted immortality because of the Dragon Balls. So the Dragon Balls were still part of the story, right? They were still like important. Like I enjoyed all that. Okay, Goku comes back and this, that, and the third, and all that, and then they end up going to Namek. I love the Namek saga, I really do. And that whole saga, like you're thinking to yourself, who the hell's gonna beat fucking Frieza? That's the only thing that runs through your fucking head. Like, who the fuck's gonna beat this guy? And what an evil mother! Like that's an evil dude, right? And of course, you got the Ginyu Force. They were kind of goofy, but whatever, right? And then finally, I mean, you had all these tragic deaths, right? The Vegeta dies and Krillin dies and all these dudes die, right? All the transformations of Frieza, and it's this big build up. Now, granted, it took like 7 episodes for a planet that was going to blow up in 2 minutes to blow up, but that's another story, okay? And then you got, all right, so you got, all right, you have Goku. He just he turned Super Saiyan, which was awesome. Like, you know what I mean? You kept hearing about the legendary Super Saiyan, this, that, and the third, and Vegeta wanted to become the Super Saiyan, and this, that, right? He was destiny, and he was the prince of Vegeta, and blah, 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 right? But it was Goku, someone who wasn't considered one of the tops of the Saiyan race or whatever, but he became a Super Saiyan. And in doing so, he ended up defeating Frieza, the guy who destroyed the planet and wiped out his whole race. And I was like, man, what a beautiful story. I mean, that whole thing was beautifully written. It had some flaws, as I mentioned, but it was still great. It was a great story. And then they ruin it. They just ruined the whole thing. All right? So how do they ruin it? Well, so they end up going right back to Earth, and they wish everybody back. And first of all, it becomes way like the Dragon Balls became so irrelevant after that. Because even Frieza wanted immortality. Remember, they were trying to get all the Dragon Balls in Namek. That's why they were there. Frieza got word about these Dragon Balls, right? And then they ended up in Namek. And when Namek gets destroyed, right? They end up back. This is how they ruined Dragon Ball. For me, right? For me. So after this beautiful story is told, right? This huge setup, how it's all tied together. These aliens from other planets showing up to Earth and showing up fucking Goku, and who was like the top dog and on Earth and shit. And Piccolo was a top villain, right? They both had to team up to defeat Raditz or whatever. Goku made the ultimate sacrifice. And all that arc was all built up for Goku's big return, right? To defend planet Earth from the invading Saiyans. And in that case, Vegeta. And then they built all that up, another arc, to get to the point where Goku's going to fight Frieza. This dude that has invaded planets after planet and enslaved so many, planets and this, that, and the third. And finally, there was justice. And again, the story of he turned into a Super Saiyan. It was such a big deal. They do all that. All those stories. Just so they could slice up Frieza like he's nothing in one episode. Right after that. They should have just killed the dude. Right? Like, what's the point of bringing? Oh, because he's from the. Because I always get to say, like I know what the explanation is. Okay. Oh, because Trunks is from the future. They're far more powerful in the future. Like, I know that. All right. But at some point, how lazy in writing is it that all you keep doing is making people more and more and more and more powerful? You just had Frieza destroy planets with one finger fucking 100 episodes ago. And all of a sudden he's just getting chopped up. Okay, fine. But then they expect me to believe? They expect me to believe, right? That some scientist created these drones, right? Vegeta finally, he finally makes it to Super Saiyan, right? And some female bitch drone just beats him the fuck up. That was created by the scientists. You got to be shitting me. Android. The androids are fucking weak, man. You can't go from Frieza to androids, okay? You just can't do that. Are you shitting me? So these androids are like 10 times more powerful than Frieza? Are you fucking shitting me? That was fucking weak. That was weak, man. Right? That was some weak sauce. And Cell. Look, I liked Cell, the character. I think Cell was awesome, right? Just the origin of Cell was weak, okay? His story's weak. You go from this elaborate story of the Saiyans and Frieza and all this other shit, right? To like a mad scientist. You can't make this shit up. I mean, this shit's insane, right? And little by little, all the other characters just became completely irrelevant. Krillin became irrelevant, right? And Yamcha became irrelevant. And the dude with the 3 eyes, I forgot his name, he became irrelevant. Okay, they all became Piccolo became irrelevant. They all just became irrelevant. You know, and every 10 episodes, they were becoming 10 times more powerful than they were before. I mean, you could only do that so many times. You can't keep doing that forever. I mean, it gets boring after a while. I got bored I would just get bored watching this. It was predictable, right? You know, I don't care how powerful the villain is. That villain's going to become a weakling, 10 episodes from now, because they're going to become way more powerful than that. And it just doesn't stop. Now they're fighting gods. Now they're fighting gods, by the way, okay? So they're becoming gods now, right? They're becoming gods, and at this rate, they're going to be more powerful than God himself, I mean, at some point. I mean, it's insane. They're fighting other universes now. Let me tell you what that's like, okay? That's like the Avengers, like they're all struggling with Thanos right now. But once they kill Thanos, right, or they defeat Thanos, they become 10 times more powerful in the next movie, and then somebody else comes along and beats Thanos in 2 seconds in the next movie. It's just that's stupid. All right? Oh, the X-Men. They're fighting Magneto. And then after the Magneto saga's over, Magneto comes back and he gets defeated in 3 seconds against like some chump. Okay? Just to prove how much more powerful the X-Men are now. That is just lazy writing. Okay? Like at some point, it's just lazy. It was no longer about martial arts. Okay? They don't even use their martial arts anymore. Okay? Like, it's just power and who's more powerful or whatever. It's just stupid. And that's my Dragon Ball rant. All right, so we're talking about here. And it proves my point. Magneto can rule the universe if he wanted to. Oh, couldn't rule the universe. Come on. Man, bro, I got pissed when there was something stronger than a Super Saiyan. Bro, Frieza trains for 6 months and he is strong as Super Saiyan God. That was stupid too. Okay? Like they had to, like they brought back Frieza, right? And you had everybody online like trying to understand how the fuck, like, okay, Frieza's back. But like, so what? Like, like they're a million times more powerful than Frieza now. Like what? But he trained for 6 months, right? I mean, this Rocky has nothing on Frieza, right? You know how Rocky was like in the 60s, and then he just trained. He had one training camp, and then he was able to take on the heavyweight champion of the world, the Lion Dixon, right? Frieza came back from the dead, right? And he had a training camp for 6 months. And he was at a Saiyan God level. That's insane. That's crazy. Okay. Like that's the best they could come up with. You know how they wouldn't have to have worried about any of this and coming up with that lame ass reason as to why he could compete now. If they didn't have this whole concept of get 10 times more powerful every episode. Okay. Like if they didn't have that same concept, okay, for hundreds of episodes to get 10 times more powerful in the next episode, right? They wouldn't have to worry about that. Like if Apocalypse came back in the X-Men universe, it would be a threat, period. Like the X-Men aren't, a million times more powerful than they were when Apocalypse was there. Like, it would still be a threat, regardless. I got mad. Like, this is another. Like, how can anyone be a fan of Vegeta and not be frustrated with Dragon Ball? Like, how? He always loses. Vegeta always loses. Have you guys noticed this? And he shows up to Earth to invade, to take over, and get the Dragon Balls or whatever. He loses to Goku, right? That's an L. Let's just go down the L's. And how many times did he get his ass whooped in Namek? I mean, Vegeta didn't he get his ass whooped like 4 or 5 times? He kind of came back and avenged some of those losses because, like always, they become 10 times more powerful after they get their ass whooped. I mean, what I hate that, man. Like, I hate the fact that they get 10 times or a million times more powerful every time they get their ass whooped. Okay, like, it's such a lame. Why would anybody ever kick their ass? Like, it's just stupid. But anyway, I'm like, nah, Goku, I'm not going to beat your ass. You're just going to heal up and kick my ass. Right? Right? I mean, it's just dumb, man. But anyway, he was, his record was like 4 and I think like 2 and 10 in Namek. Okay, he got killed by Frieza. All right, he comes back. He gets beat by an android that was made by a mad scientist. So you're telling me that while Nappa and Vegeta showed up to Earth, right, when all that was going down, like you're telling me that there was a mad scientist creating Cell and these androids that would have defeated him the whole time. That's what you're telling me. So you're telling me if Goku's brother never showed up to Earth, if the Saiyans never showed up, like a mad scientist was creating androids so powerful that they would legitimately be able to beat up a Super Saiyan level Saiyan, right? I mean, Goku was nowhere near that power level at that time. Okay, I guess. All right. I mean, this is stupid. I'm sorry. Gorgruga, there are 100 billion planets in our galaxy alone, many Earth-like. Good chances other life, maybe with mutant powers, is out there. Possible. It is a big-ass universe. Eddie LM, Thanos would squash Magneto. He doesn't even need his Infinity Gauntlet. He could literally swat Magneto like a fly. And T. Scott says exactly. I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I'm going to be double honest. I haven't seen the movies Guardian of the Galaxy, and I haven't seen Infinity War. Okay, I haven't seen those, so I don't know. But I'll say, look, I don't know who would win in a fight between Thanos or Magneto, right? What I do know is I highly doubt Thanos is a more interesting character than Magneto, right? Like I think I could read a story, a book about Magneto and enjoy myself a lot more than reading about Thanos. Okay, these ultra power, like it's just I don't know. I'm not impressed with these unstoppable forces of nature like characters, but that's me. Anyways, guys, before I roll out, any questions? Shoot them. Shoot me some questions. Just don't give me any who do you think would win, right? Because I don't know. Okay, I don't know who would win between Spider-Man and Batman. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I have no idea. D-Style, who would win? Goku, Super Saiyan 2? Or the Phoenix? I don't know. Okay, I just don't know. Hey, D-Style, who would win if they were to fight? Do you think? I don't know. What are some typical matchups? Like I always hear Superman versus Goku, Superman versus Hulk, Spider-Man versus Captain America, Captain America versus Batman. There's some other ones, but it is what it is. How much did the mutant pay for corrective surgery? Over 9,000. I don't know what that means. I have a feeling like I'm missing something obvious, but I probably am. I'm probably missing something so fucking obvious. So sorry. Anyway, I think this conversation has run its course, to be honest. But with that said, guys, thanks to all those that joined me live and all that. Join me in the chat, yada, yada, yada. All right. This is D-Style, and I am out of here. Peace.